Hey everybody, Tytiarie here and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Tytiarie and welcome. And I know you can tell by the title that today's video is going to be a very touchy video. It's going to be a very sensitive video, and I kind of been like contemplating on doing this video. And the last couple months, things has been hectic. Certain things has been really good. I have to do a life update too, but unfortunately, one thing that has happened that has not been the best is that I've had a miscarriage. On September 24th, 2019, I took a pregnancy test in the evening and it was positive. And the only reason why I took a pregnancy test is because Babe told me, he was just like, I just feel like you're pregnant and all of that. So I was just like, I doubt it, but I'll take a test. So I took the test and lo and behold, it was positive. Once I received that good news, I immediately the next day called my doctor to get me in to get blood work done and to do everything that I'm supposed to do. Just the basics that anybody would do once they find out they were pregnant. So on the 25th, that's when we went to the doctor. Well, I went to the doctor that evening and I had my blood drawn. Everything was fine. They give you the bag and they give you little goodies and they give you like tips on what to eat, what not to eat, what to do, what not to do, and all of that. And it was very exciting for me. It was just a rush because I'm just like, oh my goodness, I didn't expect to be pregnant. I thought that I couldn't get pregnant, and so I was just so excited. Like, it was just the best time of my life. I started taking prenatals the next day I found out I was pregnant, because like I said, I took the pregnancy test that evening. So the next day I went to the Rite Aid and I had gotten a digital, like the little first response with the digital and the line test, and it said yes and it was positive. So I went and the same day I had bought the prenatals and all of that. So then the 28th, it was a Saturday, I woke up early in the morning to use the bathroom. And it's crazy because after I found out I was pregnant, I was just like, oh, now it makes sense, because I was having certain symptoms. So I think I'm gonna do a separate video on the symptoms that I had, just to inform certain women in case they were wondering. I didn't really pay attention though. I didn't think I felt anything. But once I took the test and found out I was pregnant, then stuff started making sense, if that makes sense, if you know what I'm saying. But on the 28th, Saturday, I woke up early in the morning and I wiped, and it was a lot of blood. And it was about 6 o'clock in the morning, and all I could do was pray. And I was just like, God, please don't let anything be wrong. Please don't let anything be wrong. I immediately called Babe into the bathroom and I showed him. He was like, no, everything's fine. So I called my mom and I told her about it, and she told me to go to the hospital. Backtrack. And then when I looked into the toilet after I wiped or whatever, I seen like this weird kind of clot. It was like maybe about that big. It was like a clot in the toilet. Not a clot like a normal clot that you get in your period, but it was a strange looking one. And I tried not to think so negatively, but all I could do was pray. I prayed up to the hospital and everything. So we get to the hospital and they basically tell us that there is nothing they can really do. They don't really know what's going on until they have found out what my HCG levels were before. And so they were a 75. So they said I found out pretty early. I don't even know when my period was due or anything, but I found out pretty early, and so my HCG was at a 75. I get to the hospital and it's at 123. So they're saying, oh, okay, well, it did go up, and excuse me, and they was just like, that's good. to not worry, but to wait it out. So they send me home, and I had like an exam and stuff done, you know, the normal. They send me home and I'm still bleeding, and it's enough blood to be concerned. So at that point I kind of checked myself out, and I was taking tests to see if the line would change or if it would go down or anything. But I kind of knew, but I didn't want to believe what was going on. And sorry if I'm looking everywhere else, because I don't know, I just feel like this is a really hard video. I didn't want to do this video, but I feel like if it could help somebody else, then I'll do it. But yeah, just a little disclaimer there. But I continued to bleed for 3 days, and then it stopped. But by that time, I think that Monday, I went to go get my HCG checked, and they said it was like a 80 something. So it went from 75, 123 to like a 80 something, and they said, you know, that's not good. So they called me in again to take another test just to see what's going on. I also had an ultrasound done, but she said I was too early to see. I think I was probably like 5 weeks, a little bit over 5 weeks, I'm not sure. But she said that how early I was, we wouldn't be able to detect anything. Anyway, so they went into my uterus with the ultrasound probe thing, and they didn't find anything. And when I went back to go get another test done, it went down to 35. And then that's just when I knew. But I knew already that when it was going down, I just knew. I was like, you know what? Maybe it's just not for me. And so I was going through this depression thing, and I still kind of am. It's really hard to deal with. But once I stopped bleeding, I went from Saturday to Monday bleeding. That Monday, so like the 28th to that Monday, and then the following Saturday, which is a week later, I started bleeding again, and it was like a normal kind of period, but it wasn't really normal because I had a lot of blood clots. And I mean, it was to the point where it was uncomfortable. I had to throw away underwear. It was a lot of blood, and it was just very uncomfortable to deal with. And it was sad because you're thinking like, goodness, like my body is going through this, and my body basically rejected a baby. And it's not a good feeling to know that you couldn't hold a baby, especially with the person that you're in love with. It was a very, very, very sad and scary time, and it still is. It's because, you know, I'm still going through it because I haven't had a period or anything yet, so that's what I'm waiting on. But this is just very, very hard, and I feel for the other women that has to go through this. It is not a good feeling. And also, if there's anybody that is watching this that have been through it or is going through it now, check on the person that you're with. Keep check on your fiance, your husband, or your boyfriend, or whatever the case may be, because they hurt just as much as we hurt. And just watching him hurt too, is just, you know, it's very hard. And then you start thinking like, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with my body? Is something wrong with me? Like, why couldn't I hold a baby? Or if I'm going to get pregnant again at all? Like, it's just a very, very sad time, and it's a horrible situation to go through. And I feel for all women that have to go through that. I really thought I was gonna cry through this video, but I'm doing really well. But I can say that if this is, no matter how early you are, no matter how late you are, it's still a grieving process. So I suggest getting help if you feel like what you're going through this is like tearing you down completely. I suggest get help, because I they said they were going to check on me again in about 2 months to see how I am with the grieving process, but I've started eating horribly. I mean, I've never had like the best diet anyway, but I would eat a lot and just depressed eat and cry to the point where I'm starting to make myself sick. If any other women is going through this, I just want you to know that you're not alone. And there's many organizations, there's many little pages on Facebook and things that you can attend to help you get through it. In the beginning, I just felt like I was so alone, like I don't have anybody here for me, that, you know, like I just felt like also when I would tell people, they just didn't understand like the pain. I had people say certain things that just was very like hurtful to me, like you just don't get it. And there's going to be people that they're just not going to understand what you're going through, no matter how many times you try to explain it, no matter how many times you tell them how you feel, how your emotions are. There's just going to be some people that's just not going to understand why you feel the way that you feel, or they're just going to make like little comments that'll just make you feel like maybe I shouldn't even have told you in the first place. And maybe it may be true, you know what I'm saying? Like some people you just can't tell everything to, and so that's why certain times it's good to keep it to yourself. But I suggest talking to somebody professionally or someone that you trust a lot, like your preacher or anybody of the sort. Like I just feel like certain people just don't need to be in on that. But if you feel like it could help someone, like if you're telling your story because you feel like it could help someone, I'm all for it. And I just want all women to know, and men too, because men hurt too, that you're not alone and that everything is going to be okay, and that one day you're going to get your rainbow baby, and that you just have to stay strong. And I know it's easier said than done because I'm going through it too, but you have to just keep an open mind about it and just know that, you know, everything happens for a reason. There's nothing I can do about it now. There's nothing that could have been changed, but I know that I'm going to remain strong, and I'm going to relax, and I'm just going to keep my faith high and to just trust in God in every way. And even when it looks horrible and even when it looks good, I'm still going to trust in God. So I'm all about faith. Just keep having faith. Just stay strong and know that you're not alone once again, and that I'm here for you. If there's anybody that need to talk about it, you know, I have my social media. My social media will be linked down below, and you can also comment, but I'm here for you. And I know that this is not the easiest thing to go through, and it's still a grief no matter how early, no matter how late. It's still a grief, and everyone needs someone to talk to. Sometimes it's better to talk to somebody that you don't know as well, because they're not in on your conversation. And I know there's a lot of women that do not want to talk about it at all because they're ashamed, and that's how I felt. I didn't want to talk about it because I feel ashamed, and I feel like a failure, and I feel like I'm never going to be able to have a kid again. But I'm here to let you know that if you feel like your story could help somebody else, I suggest sharing it. Even if there's going to be, well, there will be people that's not going to understand. And I know there's going to be some people that's not going to understand where I'm coming from. But just know that if you're doing it just for one person, if you could just help one person, it's all worth it. But I'm going to go ahead and check out here, and just know that I'm here for you. If you need a comment, if you need to talk to me on Snapchat or Instagram or anything, I'm here for you. And my social media will be linked down below for anybody that wants to open up to me or share anything with me. My DMs, my emails, everything is always open. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.